Alright, let's do a little click through here. Goodbye, Warhost. There we go, short victory. This is a very, very happily reported short victory for our boy Boris. After finishing Kostaltyn the other day, I realized I wanted to go back and do Boris again. And I had a terrific time with this Kislev campaign. Boris was the campaign I played the most at the beginning of Warhammer 3. As soon as I had unlocked him, remember, to unlock Boris you used to have to fight a quest battle as Katerin. And when you had finished it, you could play as Boris, and I played as him on the zones of chaos or regions of chaos or whatever it was. That terrible, terrible campaign that was even worse than the Vortex campaign. But this one has been won. I'm all the way out here at the challenge stone because of the victory conditions. The victory conditions for Boris: to destroy the Warhost, that's Archaon; Bloody Sword, that's the Khorne faction you're fighting at the beginning; and to grab 30 settlements. The reason I'm all the way down here, when normally you can finish off Archaon at the Writhing Fortress, which is here, is that Archaon actually took out, who is it? Tamarkan, and he took out Kolek. So he was all the way down here. To get his faction destroyed, I had to come all the way down here. At the same time, I have Katerin. She has been cleaning out the Chaos Dwarfs in here. And I'm happy to say that we finally got our bro. Where's bro? Bro's running around in here somewhere. There he is, there's bro. I was able to resurrect bro down here in Erengrad after some raid business. I cleared out, he took Erengrad, and everybody's together. I've only had Kostaltyn for about 3 or 4 turns. So the campaign went pretty much as usual for a migration. I usually do a migration with Boris. You start at the Tower of Torment, and then you take it from the Bloody Sword, and then you just head across to Frozen Landing. Take the tower, recruit 2 Kossars and a new Lord, race this way as fast as possible, recruit another Lord and another 2 Kossars, and then on turn 3 you can take Frozen Landing. They have fixed the bug whereby Boris's skill, Resettler, where he can settle any ruin for free, was activated at the beginning of the campaign. You could take Frozen Landing for free. That's now gone. It costs about 1,600 to take Frozen Landing. With Frozen Landing, I moved down here and joined the Ropsummon War with Goromadni, and then cleared out Goromadni. Now, this campaign was much easier, I think, than your traditional Boris campaign, because Throt hadn't wiped out Ropsummon. I took out Goromadni and came down here, and Ropsummon was pretty much still at my back. And then I fought Arbol. So Arbol is the main issue here. I fought him, I cleared him out of here. He was not defeated because he had actually fought Bloody Sword and taken over this thing here, Howling Citadel. In fact, he kept declaring and making peace with me as I kept beating him, but I didn't want to chase him to the far ends of the earth. And then last time he declared, I just had a couple of turns left to finish the game, so I traded him the Writhing Fortress to shut him up. It could be possible to continue this one. The victory conditions are to finish the Legion of Chaos, that's Daniel. But the major issue is going to be finishing off Wintertooth, which, oh, where are they? Yeah, see, they're this whole mess here. Now, that's not unusual. Boris can make it in there. It's all green territory for him. It's all mountain and frozen, which I'm suited to now because of the tech tree. So let's go take a look at Boris himself. Boris, like Kostaltyn, is a mid-level lord at best. I do have his 2 items. These are easy. One of them you get very early on. One of them you get just from grabbing 3 settlements. One of them you get from reaching level 8. So you get it at level 7. The quest to get to level 8. Sometimes you have a battle where you do that in the same turn. And then his bonus is requesting an army, which, okay, it's a terrific bonus. The items are good. Clearing corruption is good because you're fighting chaos all the time. The shard blade is a couple of damage to local area. Melee attack bonus versus large melee defense. They make him a better fighter. You can see here he's got good stats in his stat line. But his skills are pretty middling. They're geared to his combat abilities are geared to his being the bear guy. So hit points and battle healing cap for him, that's good because you want him in combat quite a bit. So immune to psychology, bonus versus large. I think all legendary lords should become immune to psychology when they become level 30 or 40 or so, but okay. Recruit rank for bears and bear riders. I've never recruited any other than the AAR. Armor for Zargard. I've got one of my Zargard left from the beginning. Population bonus for newly captured settlements. That was added in, I believe, in one of the remakes. So that does allow you to grow pretty quickly. And then this one here, glorious charge for the army, base weapon damage for the army. It's okay. That's about all he has. He does have these things here. Bonus for when you're weak, right? Hit points less than 50. Growth in all provinces, no colonization cost faction-wide. That's not as big of a deal anymore because you get a lot of growth as Kislev. And colonization costs are pretty cheap. Regeneration for elemental warbarians, I don't have any of those. Construction for buildings in the local province and the local province religion buildings, that would be way better if it was for all provinces, and maybe a half of a bonus. Because, yeah, sure, you're going to build something probably the turn after Boris gets there, but garrison and religion buildings, they're pretty cheap. Finally, 1 tier difference, again, that doesn't mean much. Allegiance points gained with alliances with Kislev, whoopty. Diplomatic relations with Kislev, that does allow you to confederate Katarin quicker, but you're usually going to do that pretty quickly anyway. So what else do we have here? So the most important skill, I'm pretty sure now, for Kislev is going to be this orthodoxy skill. Is it this one here? Yeah. Duties reward. So replenishing 10% movement range after winning a battle, that was key to this one. Because Arbol, for example, makes large numbers of armies, especially these armies that he spawns. So being able to grab Lightning Strike and then take them out one by one was a really big deal, and that's what I did. I did race for Lightning Strike this time round. Boris can take on an enemy army on his own. 2 or 3, it's much more difficult. So being able to Lightning Strike, replenishing movement there, and then experience gain for units allowed my armies to become very, very high rated pretty quickly. If we go back to Boris again, you can see that my initial bears are level 9, the initial infantry units high ranked. These guys just held the line, they didn't really get into fights. Boris is 50. Used to be that you'd expect a level per turn in the early levels of Warhammer 2 because of the Sack City. Boris, I got him up leveled pretty high. I didn't fight many battles. I think I only actually fought 7 battles in this entire campaign. Yeah. And those were probably the very first 7 when I try and get Boris and his Patriarch to fight as many opponents as they can in order to get them to level very quickly. I did make massive abuse of the Ataman System, constantly moving them around from one place to another to shorten my building times. I think some of my building areas I probably have some outrageous low cost. So if I was to dismantle that, how much would it be to put it up? So 35, that's actually pretty expensive. I think it's mostly these kind of buildings. I don't know if I have any that I have to build anywhere. Yeah, I've pretty much got everything built up. Leningrad, I just got this. I've got a Boyar in there. The Boyar, so this Boyar here, you can see he's got foreman. So construction time -1, construction cost -20. He also has an Ataman's administrator, so 15% there. So 15% plus 20% is 35%. Plus I have some bonuses for religious buildings, the infrastructure buildings. So you can see that something like this is only 100 to build this. It's only 350 for this. It's only 350 for this. It's very, very, you know, the money you're making doesn't really matter anymore. But importantly, you can also get everything done in one turn. So there are mods, if you like, that allow you to put an Ataman every time you complete a province rather than every 2 provinces. The only other thing I want to talk about is a couple of things in the court and orthodoxy system. If you look here, the third one down says battles fought against chaos. Now when you start the Boris campaign, it does not say battles fought against chaos. It'll say battles against orthodoxy enemies in one and battles against Ice Court in the other. And you think, well, how am I going to get all my points? The moment that you very first fight a chaos enemy, that triggers. I think we can go ahead and show that, because I thought that they had fixed it and or changed it to get rid of that. And if that was the case, then that was going to make playing as Boris really difficult, because it would mean that you would have a really hard time building up your points until you could find and meet the enemies of the other faction. It also, again, the orthodoxy system was heavily weighted to one side because orthodoxy were dead in this one so early on. I usually also auto-resolve the first 2 fights of this because they're really actually pretty difficult fights. So if you look up in here, see, battles against chaos do not show up in the court and orthodoxy option. It's not until you fight those battles. So if we go in here and fight this, I wonder if it shows up here or if it's later. He has survived to death.
You belong to Ursun now.
Okay, well, would you mind? See, battles fought against chaos. So it wasn't there until you fight your first battle. So if you load up and you're like, where's my points from chaos coming from? Don't worry, they're in there. So what's the other thing we want to talk about? The other thing we want to talk about is, because of the way that the system works, you want to heavily lean into the additional lord system. You can fight with up to 4 lords in a battle. And if you have more than 4, I believe it's the 4 with the highest level that fight. And one of the reasons you want to do that is each lord and each hero that's around can gain equipment and can gain ancillaries. So when you're fighting, if you look in here, battles fought against chaos 10. I've only fought 1 battle this turn, and that was because it was 1 leader, it was Boris. If you have 3 leaders, you get 30, right, instead of 10. If you have 4 leaders, you get 40 instead of 10. So each leader up to 4, each lord, can get you 10 points there. So you want to double up on that, or double down on that 4 lord system. It is expensive because you're going to have to pay for the supply lines. So right now, I have 8 armies that are costing me 7,000. So I would be, with 1 army, I'd be in the green. But, at this point, I'm making my money off of sacking and post-battle loot. So, for instance, here, yes, last turn, when I took this one, those 3 lords would have taken this thing for 30. So, I don't think this guy may or may not. Yeah, I've been getting lightning strike on everybody. It has become relevant again. I think there are an increase in late game armies. You needed lightning strike in Warhammer 2 because the enemy ran around with 4 full stacks. I've been using it here. I don't know that I got it with Cat. Oh, I did get it with her. The only thing, it takes a while to get there. It's okay because discipline and fervent are good fighting as Kislev because there's usually so much corruption, and there's now a definite benefit to devotion. The devotion system did get the rework. I have only used 1 or 2 devotion benefits. You do have to be positive, right, 25 plus to use it. I've only used it a couple of times. I think I used one over here a while ago. I could use one here, so it's currently what is it currently sitting at? Does it tell you what it currently is? 48. This is the one I used most. Instantly complete a turn. So I'll just go ahead, I'll wait till I need an Ataman in an area, move the Ataman in, put all the build orders in, and then just click to save a turn on it, and then off you go. Any other late game things in here I got? Pretty much just went for the same ones I always do. Definitely, this is fantastic to get experience gain. There's also one in here somewhere. I'm gonna go, there it is, Treatise of War. That's the Ice Court one, experience gain for Lords and character. So 200 points per turn. And remember, that includes Atamans. So the Atamans are going to be getting about 500 experience a turn. I'll show you why. So if you have wood, this wood is providing 300 for Atamans. This one here is providing 200, so 300 for the Ataman. And then this here, giving another 200, so the Atamans are getting 500. I figured out why my Atamans in the previous video needed 3 or 4 levels. It's because I'd forgotten about them. This helps to remind you, look, well, your Ataman needs a level, but it doesn't show up here in the tooltip. It does if you go into the Lords, I believe. Oh, yeah. Do the Atamans show up here? That guy an Ataman? Yeah, he's an Ataman, and it shows up here. But I think it's probably a mod for that. This needs to trigger the leader thing too. And then usually I'm going down this line. It says my first chance to get one of these. Climate penalties are nullified when an Ataman, that's fine. Construction time for buildings, that's really nice. What's this one here? Settlements. Perform a garrison salary within 300 range and diplomatic with all functions. I should go through and do an Ataman one once. I'm getting ready to do this one mostly because I like getting the frost. I want to flood the map with frost maidens. My hero capacity is currently plenty of pay trust because I want to look at the Ice Court tree as well, because I usually get the ability with the Ice Witches that gives you a patriarch, which seemed a little ridiculous. So that was a great campaign. I really enjoyed it. Migrated over, did the vagabond thing where I just ran around killing things and trading settlements, getting experience for Boris. Fought the Chaos Dwarfs, made peace. Fought Arbol, made peace. Came back over, took out Throt. Took out Azazel, resurrected our boy down here, and then came out here and then started the march. Once Boris and his secondary leader get their doom stack together, it doesn't really look like a doom stack, but when the two of them are working together, it is. I just marched all the way through all of Archeon stuff. Okay, hope you enjoyed that one. See you again.